Hey everybody, welcome back to day 2 of Vlogmas. Welcome back to the chaotic little book corner. Let's start with our Advent. Today is December 2nd. Oh, it's cute! It's like a little reindeer. Look at it, look at it. It's so cute. You know, if that would just focus, be great. Focus, focus, focus. Okay. This is Winter Wonderland Dear. It's German. It's from a children's book. Oh, it is kind of bookish because it's the art from books. That makes sense. That makes sense. I'm excited. That makes way more sense, and I'm very excited from it. Better. So, as I told you guys, like way back when, there's going to be a lot of bulk filming because editing takes some time, and I need to breathe. That's a big thing. Yes. So today is another day, but actually for So today we're going to keep going. And today is going to be a So as you guys know, there's going to be some bulk filming, so bear with me about the outfits being the same. I love you guys, but I'm not changing my shirt every 5 minutes. Okay, so today is going to be my nonfiction November wrap-up, and it's just going to be me talking about a little bit of a wrap-up on all of the nonfictions that I read. I'm going to go in order of least to most enjoyed. How does that sound? Does that make sense? Yes, let's do that. So the one I enjoyed the least first was this. This is Shroom, A Culture and a History of the Magical Mushroom, and it's by Andy Letcher. This one I really wanted to love. I did, but it was so dense. It just felt, I feel like the color of this room just like went out. No, I need you to, can you just find the light? That'd be great. There we go. So this is Shroom, A Culture and History of the Magic Mushroom by Andy Letcher. This, I wanted more from it. I wanted it to be more about the history of mushrooms, what they've caused, and all of those things. And it did all that. It did everything that I wanted it to do, but it was so heavy, guys. Oh my god. The amount of medical mumbo jumbo that was in this and scientific wording and all of that. If you were a science geek, this is fantastic. Color. Okay. This is Shroom, A Cultural History of the Magical Mushroom by Andy Letcher. This was heavy, guys. Like, really way too heavy. It was all of the scientific mumbo jumbo that, like, yes, okay, great. I really like the idea of learning the history of the mushroom, learning the ideas of how it affected the cultures and people in history and all of that kind of stuff. It was great that way, but there was a lot of really large, unnecessary words that felt like the author was using them just to be like, hey, look what I know. I'm awesome. So cool. And I was like, no, you're not that cool though, dude. Like, you're writing about psychedelic drugs. Take it down a notch. Take it down a notch. I think if you really, really want to jump into something that's a lot, if you're really willing to dive into the big information about it, like, I'm serious, like the scientific depths of shrooms, this is great. But if you're just looking for like an easy read, not the thing. Not the thing. Nope, not the thing. Next, unfortunately, we have As If From Clueless. This is an oral history. Now, I read 2 oral histories this time around in the nonfiction November, and I liked the other one way better. And I liked the other one, which I read first, because I feel like this one is for the Clueless nerd. So, like, I really love the film Clueless. I think it's fantastic. This definitely touches on that. It talks about some of how it affected pop culture and all of that, but I really wanted more. I wish I could have seen a little bit more of, I don't know. I don't think I liked that it was an oral history. I think I would have liked it in a different format. The text didn't portray to me what I was looking for in this format. I think it would have portrayed better if it had just been written as a flat-out nonfiction, where you kind of went chapter by chapter and section by section and broke it down that way. Like, how did it affect, you know, clothes? How did it affect lingo? How did it affect social interactions? That kind of stuff. I really would have liked it a little more broken down that way, but it didn't go that way, and that was a bummer. Yeah, just said bummer. Okay, so welcome to New England. All right, the next one, now we're getting into the nitty-gritty of, I really liked it, but I'm kind of like, so none of these books are under 4 stars for me that are here now. All of them are 4 or above, so I loved all of them. I recommend all of them, but this one for me, I'm gonna have to read again. This is Romantic Outlaws, and it's by Charlotte Gordon. It's the story of Mary Shelley and Mary Wollstonecraft. Now, I loved this book, but I feel like I missed so much because there's so much in it. Like, it's dense, and it's facts, and it's lots of facts, and I felt like I was not able to catch everything I wanted. I respect Mary Shelley 110 times more. I feel like I really connected to her even more, and love Frankenstein even more, which I already loved. It's one of my favorite books of all time, but I feel like there was so much more to get out of this book that I missed because it was so big and thick that I need to reread it, and this is not something that's an easy reread. Like, it's a good 600 pages. So it's definitely something I'll probably hold off on for a little bit. I learned a lot. I felt good when I closed the book, but I felt like I missed a lot. Does that make sense? So that's why that one's lesser? I don't know. See, now I'm like struggling. Okay, so I guess the next one would be this. Now, this is fantastic, but the reason I'm holding this up is it's not for everyone. And that's the only reason that I don't like it, is this is the diagnosis and treatment of dissociative identity disorder, and it's by Ronald A. Moline. And this is honest, it is correct, it is facts, it is great for a person who is interested in DID, but it's not accessible to the person who has no interest in DID. Does that make sense? So this is not a nonfiction that you would see on a shelf and be like, oh, I'm going to pick that up and learn something new. This is really technical. It has a lot more information. It has a lot of stuff that you learn as you go, and it's very, very in-depth and very, very blunt about a lot of the DID facts and stuff, but it also is not, if you're not interested in DID, then it doesn't work. So for those of you who are really fascinated by my disorder, this is a fantastic book to pick up. But for those of you who are just kind of curious about my disorder, this probably wouldn't be the right book. I would probably recommend either a nonfiction that's more focused on the disorder in a different way, or I would recommend picking up Bob Stevens. Where are you, Bob? Bob? Bob, where are you? I know you're here. Bob. I would probably recommend, for those of you who are interested in my disorder but not interested in going deep into the medical aspect of it, Bob Stevenson, and this is by Richard Wiley. This is from Bellevue Literacy Press, who I obsessively am in love with. They are like... I love them. They are fantastic. You guys need to, like, check them out. But anyway, this is a story. It's pretty short. It's only about 200 pages. And it's a story of a woman who falls in love with a man who has DID, and she meets him while he's in an altered state. So it's a very honest way to go about it. It's really blunt. It's really easy to follow, but you feel pretty attached to the man at the same time you feel detached, which is pretty accurate for a person with EID. So it works. Next, we have this. This is Girl Up by Laura Bates. Now, a lot of people felt like this was super YA, and it is super YA. This is a super YA nonfiction. This is a super YA nonfiction, but it is absolutely fantastic. It does what it needs to do. It's really, really good for girls who are new to feminism or feel that they have not been smart enough in the past to be a feminist. I think that's what I really loved about this, is I've definitely struggled with that myself, where I don't feel like I'm smart enough to be a feminist, and so this really helped me break that down and show me feminism comes in all sorts of shapes and sizes and ideas and logic, and it's more about equality than it is gender, and that was a really, really big, more about equality of the genders in all gender format than it is about specifically male and female. Does that make more sense? Yes. I have to admit, for those of you who are shy and meek, look away. Dancing vaginas. Dancing vaginas. Dancing vaginas. Dancing vaginas. Pretty special. Yeah. Next we have, now we're getting into like the hard choices. Hard choices. What? No, thank you. Next we have, what am I going to do next? I don't even know. Okay, I guess we'll go to, my gut's telling me this. So all of these are fantastic and I love them, and I would definitely recommend them to each and every person and ask you why you haven't picked them up. And they're all so different that it's a really hard thing to talk about. So this, I don't think I'm an oral history person, if that makes sense. This is written in oral history format. This is the history of The Daily Show. It's done by Chris Smith, and it's forwarded by Jon Stewart. This is talking about the history of The Daily Show from the perspective of different Daily Show cast members and Jon Stewart himself, producers, actors, all of those sorts of things. It was really fantastic, really wonderful. I liked how this did the oral history better than As If, but I don't think I like oral history as a format. It just doesn't jive with me, but this book was a 5-star read, fantastic, absolutely wonderful, and I think that for everybody they should read it anyway. I think it's absolutely worth a read. I think it's wonderful. It's amazing. I loved it. I really loved it. And this one made me laugh a lot, and it was really nice to hear the thoughts and ideas coming out of people that I respect a lot, and how they really demonstrated something so different from what they initially went in thinking. Sorry, the lighting is like all over the damn place. I don't even know. But I really, really love this. So there's that. Next we have Ballerina. Ballerina by Deidre Kelly. Sex, Scandal, and Suffering Behind the Symbol of Perfection. I adored this. If you like the ballet, this is fantastic. So this breaks down the history of ballet from the beginning, from back to King Louis. It talks about how ballerinas were more of a class way to explain their class, to explain whether or not they were a concubine or a prostitute. It was all of this. There's so much history behind a ballerina that we kind of ignore, that it's become the symbol of virginity and perfection and the untouchable, and in actuality it never started that way, and it was so much more. It's so deep, and what ballerinas go through for their bodies, for their souls, for their minds is excruciating, and how they handle themselves is phenomenal. And it's really hard to be the ideal perfection symbol of virginity, virtue, and all-around femininity, even though in the original ballets, like way back, it was more dominated by males. Interesting fact. Next we have The New Jim Crow. Now the reason that this is top 3, but it's not number 1, because the anger. So much anger. Okay, so Okay, so the anger is a good thing. It makes me really frustrated. It makes me really angry and it makes me want to change things and do things and act on things. The thing I really wish is that there was more. There's a huge amount of notes in the back. I am not really a big fan of doing the flip back and forth thing. That's first. Second, I wish there was more in here talking about what I could do as a singular person to help change the system. Does that make sense? I wish there was more of a, here's what you can do, here are some sites you can donate to, here are some people you can work with, that kind of stuff. I wish there was more of that in this than just, here's all the information you need, it's terrible, it's awful, end of discussion. I feel like there should be something I can do, but it just left me wanting to do things, which is great, but at the same time, really hard for me. Next, we have this. This is Sex Lies and Handwriting. The top expert reveals the secrets of the hidden handwriting, and it's by Michelle Dresbold. I'll link Olive from a Book Olive's channel down below. She did an interview with the author. It was fantastic. It was phenomenal. It was wonderful. I have a really big interest in serial killers, which is probably terrible, but I don't think I'm the only one. I love the psychology of them. How did they get there? What happened? What changed them? Why did they go bad? Were they always bad? That kind of stuff. And she really dives into the psychology of a lot of serial killers and how their handwriting demonstrates, or their brainwriting as she calls it, demonstrates that there's an underlying just part of them that is manipulative, deceitful, self-centered. It's in them. It's not just that these people were killers. It's also that they are just mentally different, or they are deceitful or cruel. And it goes down into that, and it's deeper, and it's more, it's, if you really like the book Silence of the Lambs, you would love this, because it really dives into the psychology of a killer, or the psychology of those who are different and have done bad things. It also is really fun because you get to kind of go through your own handwriting or others and kind of see what that says about them and all those other things. But all in all, I started really diving into my own handwriting, and I got kind of mad because I thought I was a deceitful little twit, but I realized pretty quickly that I have DID, and so I write differently every time because every part has a different handwriting, so that was really interesting. I knew that, but like when I broke it down in terms of those handwriting things, it got really complicated. Last but not least is Trevor Noah, Born a Crime. Now this one, when it came out, I was thinking it was going to be him talking about The Daily Show. It's not. And the reason that I love this so much is because it's not him talking about The Daily Show. This is his stories from his childhood in Africa, from what he went through, from the racism and the poverty and the stress and the strain and the difference and feeling unwanted in either white or black races and feeling completely out of place. This was brilliant. It was funny. It was honest. It was different. And it was a really, really, really wonderful depiction of a diverse story from others. And I think that even if Trevor Noah had not become this famous man that he is, which I think some people don't even know who he is now, I think he would have told his story other ways, because he has a story that needs to be told, and it's so similar to so many others from where he's from, and I think he talks about that a little, where he's like, this is not just my story, and he's so kind and so brilliant, and he's so honest about his experience, but he's so unapologetic at the same time. He doesn't make you feel like you are watching or reading his experience and should feel sorry for him. He makes it very clear that this is how it is, and it sucks, but it's just how it is. I absolutely adored this. I'm going to be doing a more in-depth review on The Daily Show and Trevor Noah together, and talking about them as comics and how they have shifted and changed the democratic society and the idea of news. If you're not interested in that, you don't have to watch it, but that is what will be coming with that video. So that is that. I will see you guys tomorrow. Happy holidays. I love you.